Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with Sixtyandme. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that all's well. I have a conversation today that I want to share about imperfection and our ultimate quest for everything we do to be perfect and how that can hold us back. And I've got some ideas and some thoughts about how you can manage that in your life and just set some new habits and reframe your mindset about it so that you can live a happier and more relaxed life. I mean, it's really, in a way, a sign of strength to admit your imperfections. Why? Because it actually connects you with humanity. We are all imperfect. We're imperfect creatures. And if you look online at any of the Psychology Today or any of those documents that sort of talk about imperfection, it will repeatedly say this, that admitting your imperfections, allowing yourself to just be who you are is the way to happiness. You have to accept your whole self. And that whole self is not perfect. There are flaws, and those flaws can be beautiful. And I have found over the years that the times I've been vulnerable and the times I've been honest with people about something that I don't do well, or that where I have an imperfection, that it has actually drawn me closer because they can relate. And I think that's such a powerful conversation. So there's a few ways that you can embrace imperfections. Not deny them, not try to hide them, but to embrace them. And that is to surround yourself with positive people. In Sixtyandme, with positive women. This community is amazing. You are some of the most incredible women, and trying your very best to live this life with just to make the most of this incredible time. And the people in our community, I think, recognize this solidarity that comes from being connected to women who are all going through the same thing. Dealing with imperfection, dealing with flaws, with making mistakes, with doing things that they didn't mean to, that they regret even. And so surrounding yourself with positive people is a way of lifting you all up. It's like the force kind of lifts you all up. So that's the first thing that you can do. The other thing to do is to look for unconventional role models. Now, this is a really interesting conversation because there's so many of them now. I remember looking at the work of Ari Cohen and the advanced style women who live in New York. He basically went out on the streets of New York and was taking pictures of older women who were dressing in funky clothing, and they were just wearing their Doc Martens and polka dot skirts and big hats and jewelry, and they were just unconventional. But I watched the documentary of that and of his work and realized that just that identifying with kooky people that step out of their comfort zone and say, whatever, I'm going to do this, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm just going to be me. And I suppose if you sat down with each of them and asked them, do you have any imperfections? They would go, yes, like lots. And they'd probably list all the imperfections that you're worried about too. Not being smart enough, not being rich enough, not being calm enough, not being, intelligent enough, all those things, not being in the right place with the right person. And they will probably tell you the story. So connecting with these kind of quirky, unconventional role models is definitely something that is helpful. The other thing, and this is really a simple one, is just, embrace what you've got. I mean, if your imperfection is that you're always late, or you're always, you just name what the imperfection is. It's not anything to worry about, but it's something that you have on your mind. Learn to live with that, let people know. Hey, I might be a few minutes late, or whatever you're, miss a meeting, or there's all kinds of imperfections that we load on ourselves. And that actually, and by the way, it doesn't just apply to people and things, and I'll talk about some other ways of looking at this in a sec. Finding the positive in your negative goes back to what I was saying about once you recognize that you've got an imperfection and it's a little flaw, I'm going to call it whatever you want to call it, that there's a positive side to that. And, the connection with other people, the sense that, hey, we're all doing the same kind of thing. It's not, it's not something to be worried about or to beat yourself up about. It's just you. It's just beautiful you. And then I guess that the connection, the fifth thing is to actually accept your humanity. Everybody's got flaws and everyone's on this journey. Now, I'm going to show you an example of something that's a little bit random, but I think it will actually help you to understand a concept called wabi-sabi. Now, many of you know about wabi-sabi. Anybody? It's a concept that's very popular in Japan. It's a Japanese concept, which basically means the acceptance of the transience and impermanence in life, and celebrating that impermanence. So when something gets broken, by the guidelines of wabi-sabi, you don't throw it away. It's not less beautiful because it has a flaw, because it's got broken or it's not perfect. But it's basically an aesthetic that embraces the imperfect. And the example I'm going to show you is a plate. Now in Japan, when a plate is broken or a bowl, this is my little black plate. I don't know if you can, oh, it's all shining and everything, it's good. I got a little break. It broke on the corner. So in Japan, what they do is they just get some gold paint and they paint it. And I'm getting some glow from the window, but this is kind of cool. This is the little gold part that I put on my plate. And it's not real gold, of course, but it just reminds me that this plate is a cool plate. I like it. I like black plates. I like it with the little gold on it. So even with your flaws, things can still be beautiful. And back to the authenticity comment, which is where this kind of lies. And I love that, by the way, that Japanese aesthetic. I think it's really, and it's not just words. They really do this. And I think that it's kind of the Marie Kondo downsizing as well. It's that whole idea of, just having things that you feel are beautiful and don't give up the things that you thought were flawed by some imperfection. Make you more authentic. You are an authentic human being when you accept that you have things about you that are not perfect. And it's so incredibly exhausting to actually all the time be trying to cover for your imperfections and make excuses for them and try to change them and, beat yourself up. Maybe you're a few pounds overweight, like that's an imperfection. Well, as long as you're healthy and you're trying your best to, eat good foods and there's not an emotional, psychological issue that you need to maybe look at more deeply with eating. So what? You're 5 pounds overweight. It's okay. You're going to be all right. Just make sure you get your exercise and you walk and eat good foods. So authenticity. So I guess you're saying to yourself, well, I don't think I'm imperfect at all. I'm totally in control of this situation. But just a few questions to ask you, and then maybe you can recognize some things that can be helpful to just overlook. So do you set high standards for yourself? Do you beat yourself up when you make a small mistake? Do you find it difficult to relax and just have fun? Do you try to avoid new things because you won't be perfect at it? You want the fear of failure. And do you believe that your worth is associated with how much you accomplish or what others think of you? And behind all those 5 questions is this kind of sense of imperfection, that you don't have these things or you don't have this worth, and that's what causes the nervousness. Everybody is flawed. Everyone makes mistakes, and we all have habits that we want to change. Maybe you buy too many clothes or too much chocolate or watch too much TV or you have too many possessions or whatever. You can just list all the things. You're human. You're real. You're beautiful. And I think that that's the message that we like to get across here. And it's, it's for you to take in and internalize. And, social media doesn't help here because it makes us think that everybody is having a perfect life. Even me, everyone's having a perfect life, but they're not. Usually behind the ones that are yelling the loudest about how happy they are the ones who are not. So I would love to ask you the question and ask you to leave your comments in the section below, because it is in sharing that I think we start to realize the similarities and the things that we all think are imperfections and just how we come to embrace them and live with them. So tell me something that you think is a flaw, something in your personality that you might consider a flaw or that you have in the past and you've overcome. Maybe that's a better way of looking at it, because I don't want you to be dwelling right now on things that you consider imperfect. But is there anything in your life that maybe you thought was, you were flawed or not perfect, and then you overcame that? How did you do that? Let's just share together. I really hope that you enjoyed this chat. I just wanted to talk about it because it's such an important conversation, I think, for older women particularly. Certainly has been for me. Take really good care of yourselves, everybody. I am by your side always and really do respect and love you all. Have a really wonderful day wherever you are. And thank you for all your support and for being here. Lots of love. Bye for now.